I am Leon Frazier, and I'm a 27-year police veteran, and 14 of those years were as a police chief in several different jurisdictions. And I came up here to start some trouble tonight. And the trouble that I'm going to start is with those people who walk around talking stuff about there are no good police officers. They're all bad. And to those people, I'm going to say what my grandmother used to say when people made ridiculous statements. They are lies and truth ain't in them. So, this officer right here with these big muscles found us on the freeway one day. And we were with the church congregation, and we had left West Point Lake, and we had a blowout. And there was a state trooper sitting up the street, and I'm sure he was watching for somebody to be speeding. And he kept sitting right where he was sitting as our congregation pulled off to the side of I-85. That wasn't you now. I'm going to make sure they know it wasn't you. And we were catching heck. We were trying to watch that traffic zipping past us 70 and 80 on the freeway in the right lane. And then something happened. One of your police officers, Jason Reaves, saw us, and his training and experience, I'm sure, had something to do with it. His compassion and sensitivity for people, I'm sure, had something to do with it. His blue lights had a lot to do with our safety. Because once he saw us and stopped and put those blue lights on and cleared that right lane, all of us was much safer at that point than we had been before. And these muscles, sure enough, had something to do with it, because all of us old men were out there wrestling with lug nuts that hadn't been off for 2 years, and he went far beyond his duty. He stepped right up, took that lug wrench, and got that job done. And it's for that that we really do appreciate this officer, Chief. And my pastor, Reverend Kenneth G. Jones, sent a letter for the benefit of you and the council and the citizens, of course, that says, Dear Chief, on August 2014, we were traveling home from a church picnic at West Point Lake. While journeying with the full church van, we experienced a blowout on the left rear tire of our vehicle. This was quite a harrowing experience, since we were in the southbound lane of I-85. We experienced great difficulty in removing the tire, coupled with the traffic moving at a very high rate of speed, as we struggled with the removal of lugs on the wheel. We were joined by Officer Jason Reaves. He immediately activated his lights on his patrol car, helped us remove and replace the tire, and helped us to safely resume our journey home. We know that this was probably a routine event for your officers and your department, but we would like to say thank you to your community, your department, Officer Reaves, for a job well done. His professionalism, consideration, and compassion provided great comfort to a group of weary travelers on their way home. Please know that your community and department is well presented in this officer. Thank you for your service. Sincerely, Reverend Kenneth G. Jones, Senior Pastor of the Bethel Missionary Baptist Church in Tuskegee, Alabama. Now, I'm going to take it a step further, because when you are ordinary people like we police officers were and are, you generally do what you do. Some of us do it bad, some of us do it good, and some of us don't do it at all. But when an officer like Officer Reaves steps up to the plate and take care of that kind of business and show that kind of love, trust, and respect for people, I want to take it a bit further. This is the book that I published. And I published it on Mrs. Amelia Boynton Robinson. And that is the lady who was beaten down on the Edmund Pettus Bridge by Alabama State Troopers back in 1965, under the supervision and relationship of Sheriff Jim Clark, who was a very mean man. This woman was left on the bridge for dead, at the base of the bridge anyhow. And when people told Sheriff Jim Clark that there was somebody over there dead, he said, "Let the buzzards eat them." That woman is 103 years old today. I've been running with her for the last 15 years around this country, collecting photographs and information on her, and she represents extraordinary. That's what you represent to me as a former police chief and police officer. So I want you to have a copy of this book, and I autographed this book to say it has 193 pictures of basically everything she's done of significance over the last 15 years. And it also has narratives of her life story, as well as 3 poems that she wrote that I hope you read them, internalize them, and continue to live your life coupled with what she says in these poems. And I'm going to tell you that too, Lanett police officer Jason Reaves, for being a notch above the norm when it comes to public service and protection of the people. Thanks for what you did for Bethel Missionary Baptist Church members on I-85. Signed Leon E. Chief Frazier, March the 2nd, 2015. And I do love, trust, and respect you.